I'm Conrad Ormsby with Blue Sky Drum Academy, and what I was just showing you was a little clip of one of my first encounters with David Garibaldi. And I was like 17 years old when I actually got to see him live at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And but of course, before I had heard his song, It's Still a Young Man, that the band had played, and it was real popular. It was kind of a ballad. And the album was called Bump City. This song came from an album that was before Bump City that, you know, probably didn't really become famous until after Bump City came out, and then people found this one. And what I found about the recording is that it was real clear. You can hear the left hand really good, and so it was easy to, it helped me figure out what he was doing. And the problem with Bump City was the way the drums were tuned in the 70s, everything was dead, so it was hard to distinguish between the left hand and the bass drum. So years later, I was around 17, and my cousin, he was 22 or 23, and he was living with us, with my mom and myself and my brother, and he wanted to go see Tower Power, and he had heard they were going to play at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I was underage at the time, but you know, back then they weren't so strict about age, and they didn't care, you know, at the time. So him and I went to Hollywood from where I lived in East Los Angeles, and we drove over there. And we went into the club. There's only maybe 10 people. It was kind of amazing. And what's really cool about the Whiskey was that you could go upstairs and you could actually be literally over the drummer and watch everything he was doing. So there's a very, very few people there, and we walked in and we were confused because we heard all this music, but we never heard it because we literally had every album they made, which was only a couple. And so what happened was we realized at the end of the night they literally played the whole What Is Hip album, and we heard it from beginning to end. It was amazing, and but I had a front row seat to watching David over his head. And at the time, I think he had like it seemed like a blue Slingerland kit. He had a big old afro, and he was playing traditional grip. He wasn't playing matched like the way he plays now. And so I just remember watching everything he did, his hand, and it was probably the greatest band I ever heard live. It was really tight, and it was the original band. The only difference was they had a new singer, and that's what kind of confused me, because the previous singer had a lower voice and this singer had a higher voice, and the songs were all new. And so I just wanted to play this little bit of, you know, this beat that was so inspirational to me, because it actually, when I figured it out and got to play and use it in actual songs and other types of music, it opened up a lot of ideas and gates, and, you know, just my whole world. So I also later on, when I moved up there to Seattle teaching at Don Bennett, I got to take lessons with him. I was actually taking lessons with one of my heroes, and in fact I've taken 3 lessons. And the book that you heard, that record, that recording, was off this book, and it's got the transcription of the beat, and it's basically like a paradiddle, but it's you're playing the diddle in the middle, and you're playing the paradiddle. So, and the music, you'll see it in below, and you can recognize the patterns, the diddle in the middle and the paradiddle itself. And then later on, when I started teaching, I started using this book with students, and this was kind of the key to, if you really want to get into any depth of his style of playing, and mostly his funk style, this is a book to get. And it's not a very easy book, but it's a challenging book that will, you know, open you up with new ideas, with accents and grace notes, and it just goes on and on. It's really an inspirational book, and I recommend it highly. And of course, listening to him play and using these ideas in music. And so I think it's really a great book. Thank you, David, for doing this for all of us. Yes, thank you.